Hey my lovelies, I hope you're all safe and well. It's Mitch here. I'm just coming on to do this Wednesday's Facebook card reveals for you all. Apologies, my hair looks pretty awful. I got blasted in a rain shower earlier and it's just all wet and skanky. So yeah, apologies about that. I don't feel like I'm looking that fabulous today. Also, just want to say before we look at the cards, a huge apology to those people that were booked for Zoom sessions today. I actually had to do some cancellations because I had a really bad migraine earlier and I just wasn't feeling at my best. So I had to make the difficult but necessary decision to cancel those appointments, but they've been rescheduled for later this week and early next week. So thank you very much for bearing with me, and I'm super sorry. I do sometimes suffer with migraines quite a lot. Weather and things like this and energy changes, they do affect it when you're sensitive, you know. And obviously we were about to go into Mercury retrograde. Hold on tight. So all these little things that I try not to feed energy to, sometimes when you're a light worker and when you're sensitive, they do affect you, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, you know. So yeah. So today's been a bit of a self-care day, but I just want to say thank you for everybody's patience. Okay, so let's look at these cards. So as we're going into card number 1, we're going into the energies of looking deeper. Oops, I'll bring that there. And let's see if I can get it to not reflect. And it just says here at the bottom, deep within me is a majestic radiance. Now, what I like with looking deeper, sometimes I think we write ourselves off quite quickly, quite easily. I think sometimes anxiety, imposter syndrome, various things, various thought patterns, various limitations can sort of be placed upon us, whether they are our own thoughts and feelings or whether they are things that come in from an external place that we buy into because part of our programming, part of our conditioning is that we've maybe heard stuff over and over again. You know, maybe you've been heard or been told in the past that, you know, you're not good enough, you're never going to amount to anything. But looking deeper is all about really celebrating the root of your true spirit. You know, it's really sort of seeing the essence of your true spirit and giving yourself permission to achieve greatness, giving yourself permission to achieve magic. So I don't think I did it on my main page, but I did a video the other day. I think it was in my student group, which is obviously only available for my students. If you've done sort of a course with me, it's an aftercare group where we just hold space for each other. But in there, I did a video talking about gratitude and giving thanks and really the recognition of the journey of life, the timeline. Because, you know, for me on a personal level, when I was very young, you know, school, college, all of that was very hard for me. And so I spent most of those years being mute. I didn't speak. I did speak out of school, but in school, it was hard. I was bullied. It was just heavy. It was survival. It wasn't living. That was survival for me. And so very often I just didn't speak. So to come on and do all the work that I do now and to sort of do the stage work that I do now, particularly to be in theatres talking and having people pay to come and see me because they want to hear what spirit I want to channel through me, that's huge, you know. And where it says deep within me is a majestic radiance, that is a huge gift and is a huge piece of magic that I own that nobody can take away with me. This feather business is happening again. You see this? Again, there's nothing there but this feather energy. These orbs, which are looking like feathers, seem to be coming around loads at the moment. I think it's just confirmations from my guides. So yeah, looking deeper, it's not writing yourself off. It's not carrying falsehoods, belief systems that are not yours. And even if you don't feel always worthy of receiving something, give yourself that acceptance, give yourself that credibility. And in the case of the theatre tours that I've done, there was no mentor that come and said, come on, we're going to do this, you know, together. There was no agent that came and picked me up and decided, like, you know, we're going to roll out a tour. I was meditating one day and my spirit guide came in very fast and said, Mitch, if you want to do theatres, you have to find the way. You have to find the lock and key system to get into doing theatres. And it came from my permission, my acceptance of self. And for many years, I didn't want to do that because I wasn't feeling worthy of receiving it. But there was a gear shift within me. And as soon as that internal gear shift was given, all of a sudden it was materializing on the physical world. So whatever you're wanting to sort of create, whatever you're wanting to do, if it's not working, if it's not going to plan, do some inner work, do some meditation, go in and just give yourself that self-care, that self-recognition, that self-love, and give yourself permission. Because for me, as soon as I gave myself permission that yes, I'm worthy of doing sort of theatre tours, I'm good enough, I'm worthy of being on the stage, those stages came along and are continuing to. So that's just an example in my world of how this card can work. But looking deeper, giving yourself credibility, seeing the beauty that lies within, seeing past surface level and going right to the depth, right to the core with something. So I hope that makes sense if you've been drawn to card number 1. Now then, as we're moving into card number 2, it just says here, standing firm. And it just says at the bottom here, I am noble, brave and strong. So I see this in 2 ways. First of all, I think this is absolutely a celebration of where you're at with the world in general, the choices, the actions, the decisions that you've had to make. But also, what I see with this very strongly is maybe you've had to sort of go through some stuff recently where you've had to go against the grain. Maybe a lot of people wouldn't expect you to be doing what you've had to do. Maybe you've had to put a communication in place. Maybe you've had to literally, like it says, standing firm. Maybe you've had to make a choice. Maybe you've had to make a decision that isn't sort of collectively favoured. But you've had to do that because you know the deeper reasons as to why that's had to be done. So this is about really giving yourself permission to receive the physical aspects of life, but it's giving yourself permission, credibility to just be in this vibration of victory. Stand sort of loyal and firm to yourself. You know, the loyalty is great when we get it from other people, but it means nothing if we're not being loyal to ourselves. So standing firm, I really feel this is a really important time to just celebrate the timeline, the journey where you're at. Look at what you were, look at where you were at the start of this year to where you find yourself now, and just celebrate all the wins, all the successes, all the victories. Yes, there might be stuff that's still a work in progress, and that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely okay. But look and celebrate all the choices, all the decisions, all the actions that have got you to this point and allowed you essentially to keep going, to keep living life on your terms in the way that you need to. People won't always stand with us, and I still get it. You know, when I go and do, like, an example is a demo. When I do a demo, it's a tale of two halves. You've got many believers in the audience, but when I say are there any skeptics, quite often a lot of hands go up, and there are a lot of people that are skeptics. So when you do mediumship as an example, you have to stand very firm in your own connection, in your own belief system, and you have to stand with your own spirit as well as spirit, you know. So it might be that you've been through something so challenging and so testing, and maybe you're the only one standing up and communicating this way, but be proud that you're doing this and that you're not a sheep, you're not following the herd, you know. Be proud that actually your worth and your magic matters more than just people pleasing, you know. So it is a time to recognize your bravery, your successes, your achievements, and it's a really important time to live by your own truth, to live by your own moral compass, even if it gets you unfavored, even if people are divided in thought or opinion. It doesn't matter. As long as you know the roots of why you're doing something and you can hand on heart say, I know why this has to be this way, you can be secure in that. And finally, as we're moving into card number 3, we're going into simplifying your life. And it just says here at the bottom, I cherish the simple pleasures of life. Now, this is really cool. So simplifying, it could be in a collection of ways. It could be that maybe for some of you, you're getting rid of a lot of stuff. Maybe some of you are having a bit of a physical spring clean, or maybe an energetic spring clean. So maybe you're getting rid of people that are maybe not good enough for you and haven't been sort of bringing the proper energy that you need. Maybe you're getting rid of physical items and possessions. Maybe you are just simplifying things like it says and putting yourself first within that, you know. I mean, I had a situation a couple of weeks ago where I had such a beautiful dog walk with Oscar, and I didn't really do a huge amount else in that day. I just had an absolutely gorgeous walk with Oscar in the woods, and, you know, that was lovely, and it was very grounding, very healing. And I just thought, wow, this is the richness of what my world is. You know, yeah, my sort of client work and everything and my stage work is all great, but actually that time in the woods with Oscar made me feel so much more happier than some of the other stuff I do. And that's not taking away from the other stuff I do, but simple pleasures, simple living, you know, simplifying your living or your life, that for me was like a gem. It was a real gem in my crown almost, you know? So do what you need to do. If you need to get rid of stuff, if you need to sort of have, like I say, a physical or an energetic spring clean, and maybe you're just making different choices and decisions rather than maybe going out socializing or doing this or doing that. Maybe you just want to actually have connection time with people. And sometimes that can be really good. I mean, me and Paul are making a point this week of having a film night every evening and just having some connection time together, because next week he's on a late shift, so I won't see him very much. And that's something we don't do that often, but we're making a point of doing it more. So we're simplifying our life in that way. And it's not having to necessarily go out for dinner every night or go out for takeaways or whatever. Sometimes it's just that basic connection and getting to the roots of stuff. So I hope you can make sense of this wherever this sits in your world. So an interesting set of cards. I hope the messages make sense. I'm going to leave them with you. Just a couple of cheeky shouts to let you know some reminders. So tomorrow I am over in Colour and Crystals on Thursday in Trowbridge. There is one space left, or there was earlier. It may have gone since, but there was one space left earlier. So pop Joe a message at Colour and Crystals, and if you want to claim that, we can get that booked in. And then Friday, I'm over doing an evening of readings in Carpe Nocem in Frome. And I think there are 2, maybe 3, but I think there's 2 spaces left in there. So new system for Carpe Nocem. You can literally go now onto their website. You can click the date, the times that are available come up, and then you can just pay online and you can book and secure your session directly. You don't have to sort of phone Bex anymore or anything like that. It can all be done instantly, and you can guarantee your space. You'll get an email of confirmation confirming your place. What more could you want? I'm also there on Saturday doing a full day of reads, which I do know has sold out. So thank you so much if you're supporting me at any of those locations this week. Keep shining bright, another orb. Look after yourself, have some fun. I hope this week's messages make sense. And yeah, I will catch up with some of you lovelies very soon. Take care. Bye for now.